What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, back here for another Tottenham update on the day. First game of the season, 3-0 smashing win against Burnley, which puts smiles on all our faces. And we've got a transfer update. We reported earlier that Eze is pushing for the move to Tottenham Hotspur, and also Savinho pushing also for a move to Tottenham Hotspur. And
everyone's
after the Man City game today, Pep Guardiola said in his press conference or interview, I'm not sure which one, but said that Man City need to make sales. They've got a very bloated squad, and there's definitely going to be some outgoings from now until the end of the window. We've heard, obviously, the Savinho news. Rico Lewis has been linked with Nottingham Forest. I don't know if there's any other City
Grealish just left, didn't he?
Yeah, Grealish has just left, but he's talking about from now until the end of the window. Is he talking about Savinho?
I think so. I mean, I'm sorry, that guy was lying on yesterday. I've never seen a guy so clearly lying in a press conference. Apparently at the beginning of the press conference, I haven't seen this bit. Apparently, rattled off, all the injuries and whatever, and went through all the players that were injured, and then they were like, "Oh yeah, what about Savinho?" And he was like,
Yes.
"Oh yeah, he's injured too. Yeah, he's injured too. He's also injured. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, he's injured. I'm going to go with that." And then Savinho's posted this stuff on Instagram where he's basically trying to say I ain't injured. Although he's training alone, I guess he could be injured, just in working on the gym. But I don't know. I think
not injured.
I think he's lying. Yeah, I think he's lying, and I do think he's talking about Savinho. I think he's a bit upset that Savinho's looking to leave. I think he wants Savinho to stay and fight for his place, which is understandable. And from one perspective, I also understand. What's it called? I'm also a bit perplexed, as I've said. Why is he desperate to leave? Why does he want to come to Tottenham right now? When I'm looking at City. I know Bob started tonight, but if I'm Savinho, I'm not looking at Oscar Bob thinking, "Wow, I'm never going to get ahead of him." I think I'll be backing myself. I know he's a good player, Bob. Don't get me wrong, and I think he's also a future star, but I wouldn't be so deterred by City's options right now. If I'm Savinho, I'll be thinking I can get in the team. So very odd, but from another point of view, maybe he has been told by Pep or something, look, you're going to be a bit part player probably this season, and it's going to be you're going to be rotated a lot, and that's Pep roulette anyway, isn't it? Even if you are a first choice player, apart from Haaland, you get rotated anyway. So maybe he's feeling, okay, if I go to Tottenham, I'll play every week and all that kind of stuff, and I'll be a star there. So it's I'm still a bit perplexed, but maybe Pep's just not happy with the situation.
Yeah. Don't question it too much. We don't want too many answers. We just want to see him in a Spurs shirt. That's all that matters at this moment in time. But yeah, I think Pep Guardiola was definitely talking about Savinho and potentially some others as well. He was talking about being able to keep all these players happy all at once when you've got such a bloated squad. He said it's an impossible task. But we'll see what happens. An interesting one from Alex Kyriakou. I mean, not an ITK, nothing like that. Just a Spurs fan that goes home and away. That's also an Uber driver. And he actually picked up Johan Lang after the game today, took him to the airport on his way to Copenhagen for a little weekend away. And he posted about it, and he says, I've just dropped off Johan Lang to Heathrow straight after the game on Uber. I drove to the game and decided to do some work after. Obviously, I questioned him on Eze, and I said, is it true the reports he wants to join us? And he replied saying, oh, yeah, that would be nice. And then Alex said to him, I said, I heard he may not be in the squad tomorrow. And he said, we'll find out tomorrow. Then he also asked him about an Hincapie. And Johan, interestingly enough, said back to him, believe what you are reading. And then he said he wasn't giving away too much and was totally professional. And so he should. It's his job. Don't expect him to say, yes, we are getting them, but seemed a lovely bloke. Believe what you are reading on Hincapie.
Very interesting. Look, in terms of Alex, we obviously both know him personally. We've known him for many years. Being at Tottenham, obviously a great guy, and he wouldn't put this out there. It would just fabricate it. And I know as well he's a driver. I know that for a fact. So, so I tend to believe what he's saying. I don't think he's going to tweet that out, and if it's not true. So, for him to set for Lang saying believe what you're reading, and what are we reading? We are reading he's a target we're not really reading anything more than that at the moment, I guess, are we, in truth? But yeah, I think very interesting. He's saying, believe what you're reading. So he's kind of verifying that we're definitely after him and we're definitely looking to get him. And that obviously will be a phenomenal signing. Again, I mean, when you got someone like Hincapie, for me, it's not like, where do you fit him in? You just get him. I don't really care. You leave Davis out, leave anyone out. I don't really care. But obviously there are question marks about how you make it work with the numbers, but whatever. I don't really care. That's a conversation for a different video, because I just want to wax lyrical about Hincapie. I think he's a phenomenal defender. I've been a big fan of his for many years. He's been fantastic at Leverkusen. I think it'd be so perfect for us. Left covers Van de Ven, covers a doggy, both to really good effect. I think in some big away games as well. Also in games we want to go back three, absolutely perfect. Some games we want to play him at left back for that little bit. Also gives us a bit more of a flexibility if you want to, maybe you're going away to a really physical team and you just want a bit extra height, you play him at left back kind of thing. I think it's just such a perfect signing, but it will cost a pretty penny. And we're already talking about spending 60 million for Eze. We're already talking about spending potentially 70 million for Savinho. You're going to have to find another 60 million probably for Hincapie.
Investment is here, Sim. Don't you realise money ain't an option anymore?
I mean, we can spend 200 million. I can believe we can spend. I mean, obviously, we'll have to wait and see what outgoings we're having to contend with. But at the moment, apart from Basuma, no one's really being seriously linked with an exit. I guess who's going to give us money? I guess Solomon as well. But we're not. I mean, we'll be lucky to get 30 million for the pair. So
don't worry about the finances. Just worry about the player coming in.
I want him. Bring him in. It'd be a phenomenal signing.
Yeah, and I think it obviously diminishes the need to bring in more cover at fullback, because he can naturally cover at left back, as can Van de Ven, as can Spence. So I think we've got enough cover at fullback in terms of if we do bring him in. I think it's just the perfect option, and I sense the feeling if we do bring him in, there might be a sale on the cards for Ben Davis from now until the end of the window. And there might be a loan move for Luka Vuskovic if that does happen as well. So, yeah, I think it'll be good all round. Vuskovic can get a year development. Ben Davis, we can say bye to after a brilliant 11 years service at the club. And we bring in a top caliber replacement, where a player that we've been, me and you have been speaking about for years, talking about how much we'd love to see him at the club.
Absolutely. I don't believe in my heart of hearts we're going to get him as much as I would love it. I think we'll probably
believe what you're reading.
Yeah, well, I am, and I believe we're in for him. Doesn't mean we're going to get him. I've not read anywhere. Have you read one report saying we're going to get him, or we've made a bid, or you were close, or anything like that? So, I do believe what I'm reading, and what I'm reading is that we like him, and he's one of our top targets. But that doesn't mean anything when you're Spurs,
We got a Florian Plettenberg said a couple of months ago, saying he's got £60 million release clause for this.
We love a release clause, don't we? Yeah, we love a release clause. We love activating them. That's what
We're
we
a different
do.
club now, don't you understand?
Different doesn't mean 200 million on 3 deals in the next few weeks. Different, I don't think. I just can't see us laying out all that money. I think we'll go into negotiation thinking, can we get it for 45? And they're going to go no, and then we're going to walk away.
Yeah, I mean, if you're spending, it's only 15 million difference, 45 to 60.
Yeah, this is
so, it's still a heavy outlay. Still a heavy outlay. It's still going to be close to 200 million.
Yeah. I just can't. I think, I don't even think we'll get 2 out of those 3. I think if we get 1, I'll be happy. But obviously, if we get 2, delighted. If we get 3, best window of all time, and I don't think we'll ever top this window if we get all 3 of those. But yeah, if we do get Hincapie, that defense is sorted, for sure, and that's sorted for a long time as well. As long as we can get Romero down to a contract. But even if we can't, if you're getting Hincapie, you let Romero go in a year's time, you got Hincapie there stepping in.
Yeah. Unbelievable. If we do get him in, unbelievable options there when you look at Romero, Van de Ven, Hincapie, Danso, Dragoshin, Spence, Porro, Doggy. It's just crazy options.
Great, and that just sorts the defense out. There's no question marks about the defense anymore if you get something like him in. But again, I'm sure we're going to look for him, and I'm sure we're going to inquire. But I just don't believe we're actually going to get a deal done. But
It's because you're a pessimist.
No,
Let's
I'm
move
an
on.
optimist. I'm optimistic that we're going to go for him, but I'm pessimistic about actually getting him in.
Get him in. He's coming. He's coming, people.
You actually believe
Next up, there's. We'll see. We'll see how close it gets.
Okay, here we go. Now it's we'll see. Okay.
Next up, we're going to talk about Morgan Rodgers. The Mail, Tom Colomose are reporting that Tottenham are tracking Morgan Rodgers ahead of a potential move this summer. Frank sees the midfielder capable of having a huge impact on his real rebuild of the club. We know that actually Aston Villa need to sell. Emre has been speaking. I don't know if it was after the game today or over the weekend at some point. He was saying that it's really frustrating this transfer window for Aston Villa because of PSR and all the issues that they're going through, and they need. He didn't say they need to sell, but he says they pretty much can't buy anyone. However, selling Morgan Rodgers is like selling your crown jewel, and it's going to be hard for them to buy someone better than him. So I doubt they'll be looking to sell him this summer.
Yeah, although this one does become a bit more interesting because I think I believe we're only really going to be interested in him as probably an alternative to Eze. And now we'll get on to Eze later, but if that might need an alternative right now. So maybe Rodgers, we can go in for him. But then I think Rodgers is going to be a lot more expensive than Eze. So from that point of view, does it make sense to, if the Eze deal doesn't go through, then all of a sudden you're thinking about spending maybe an extra 20 million potentially on top of what you were going to spend for Eze for Rodgers? Is that feasible? But look, I like Rodgers a lot. I actually think he's quite similar to what Gibbs White maybe could have offered us, and he's like similar profile to that. So I think he's definitely the kind of player we'd want. I think he's gone from strength to strength ever since he's gone to Villa. He's been there 18 months now. And I think he's been phenomenal. I think his ability to take the ball on the half turn and just spin away. He seems to be able to spin away from anyone. I remember watching him do it to Declan Rice at the beginning of last season, just effortlessly. I was like, wow, I've never seen someone do that to Rice like so many times in a game. And I think he was really starting to add end product as well. That was one thing I was like, he can clearly, dribble and ball carry, but does he have at the end of it, the real effectiveness? And he really got that, I thought, last season. I don't know how many goal contributions, but it was quite a lot if I remember. And he was adding goals and adding assists to his game. So I think he's a phenomenal player. I think if Eze does fall through and he's a viable option, I mean, I honestly think that would also be an incredible alternative. But yeah, it's a lot. He's going to be more expensive than Eze. Are Villa going to want to deal with us? I know Villa are saying want to sell, but do they want to sell to us? Do they want to sell Rodgers to us? I think Rodgers, if a deal gets agreed, would probably want to come. I think I can see him agreeing to come, but I don't know about if Tottenham would go as high as what Villa would want and all those different things.
Yeah, to be fair, they did sell to Newcastle 40 million. Jacob Ramsey, I think that's gone through now. So I don't know if they'll have too many complaints about selling to clubs in and around them, but I just feel like they'll reject any move for Morgan Rodgers out of hand because he's so important to them now and the future. He's literally, like I said before, he's their crown jewel. So I can't see them getting rid of him at all for any price.
Yeah, I'll be shocked. One sec, my camera has frozen. There you go. Yeah, I would be shocked if they get rid of him because he's such an important player for them. So yeah, I'm not sure if they will.
Yeah,
but he would be an incredible alternative to Eze if anything
unbelievable.
happens. Unbelievable. Would you rather Rodgers than Eze if given the choice?
It's a difficult one because obviously Rodgers is quite a bit younger, isn't he? How old is Rodgers? Like 23?
22, 23, yeah.
Yeah. I do think he's got the potential to be better than Eze in the future. I don't think he's better than him just now. I think Eze's still higher, but to be honest, I'd be equally as happy with either of them. I think both of them are outstanding players. If you give me Rodgers, I'll be delighted. If you give me Eze, I'll be delighted. I don't have too much of a preference on either. I think both of them are incredible.
Yeah, me too.
Richarlison, Romano just reported earlier today saying that Tottenham forward Richarlison rejected several approaches to leave Tottenham this summer or transfer window. He's been absolutely determined to prove himself at Spurs, And I think that's been shown on the pitch, to be honest, last couple of games. Unbelievable performance today, obviously scoring 2 goals, a worldie, and a great performance out in Udine in the Super Cup. So he's definitely proving his worth at the moment, that's for sure.
Definitely. It's not the first time, isn't it, that we've heard about him rejecting offers. Obviously, we heard about him potentially rejecting offers to Saudi, maybe Brazil as well, who are team players that wanted him. And every time it seems to me like he's got just impenetrable self-belief. I know he had some problems, didn't he? Some health problems and stuff, mental health problems, I should say, and physical health problems. But like it seems as though he really wants this Tottenham, his time at Tottenham to be remembered as a major success, and he believes in himself, and he believes he can be a major success. And we all know how good he is. We know his body's let him down for a lot of his time here since he's been here. So that's been obviously a massive shame. But look, we saw when he was at Watford, we saw when he was at Everton, when he was playing consistently there, what a fantastic player he is. And he really is phenomenal. And for one reason or another at Tottenham, we know the reasons. When he's been on the pitch, he's been good. He just hasn't been on the pitch enough. So I think for him, he doesn't want to go to a lower league like a Saudi or whatever. He wants to. He believes in himself. He wants to be playing at the World Cup. He believes he can be Brazil's number 9. He believes he can be Tottenham's number 9. He believes all those things, and I think he just wants to prove it. So I think he
can be Brazil's number 9 if he carries on playing in the manner he's playing in right now. There is no reason why he can't be Brazil's number 9.
Yeah, and I think
he was Brazil's number 9 for having form less than this.
Yeah, so I think unless like a decent club come in for him, like I think he's always going to reject these teams, and he wants to make it work at Tottenham. I think he really likes it at Spurs. He likes the fans, and he likes the club, and I think he really just wants it to work. And I think I can understand why he's rejected all those offers, as much as maybe from fans and even the club point of view, maybe it's a bit frustrating at times where he's rejected some of these offers when we could have, used the money or whatever. He believes in himself, and look, he's playing very well at the moment. Let's hope that continues.
Yeah. But big up Richie. Unbelievable vein of form at this moment in time. And last but not least, let's get into the Eze situation. So, since we last reported, Fabrizio Romano says that Tottenham are now very confident to make the Eze deal happen. Agreement between Eze and Spurs on personal terms is done since the beginning of the week. Eze wants the move to Tottenham, and Crystal Palace are in direct talks over the fee. Spurs are confident to make it happen, but there is still work to do. Then he went on and said that Eze has informed Crystal Palace earlier this week, despite his desire to join Tottenham, talks progressing as Eze has already said yes to the Tottenham project, ready to make his move this month. Nothing done yet, but Eze hopes for the Tottenham move as soon as possible. Sammy Mockbell says that Tottenham to accelerate the move for Crystal Palace forward Eberechi Eze within the next 48 hours. Positive developments and deal within reach, but still work to be done. Eze inclusion versus Chelsea is now in doubt. Ed Aaron says that negotiations between Tottenham and Palace for Eberechi Eze have now intensified. Eze is a doubt to start for Palace away at Chelsea on Sunday after firm interest from Spurs in signing the attacking midfielder. Spurs believe that Eze will cost around £55 million and want him in addition to Savinho, and the winger is valued by Manchester City at £67 million. Gary Jacob says that Spurs believe that Eze will cost £55 million and want him in addition to Savinho, the winger valued by Man City at £67 million. Eze is a doubt to start tomorrow. Finally, Miguel Delaney, about an hour ago, says that Tottenham are close to agreeing a deal for Eze, 55 million plus add-ons. An hour later, Tottenham's negotiations over a deal for Eberechi Eze have become difficult this evening, but now there are doubts whether Manchester City will even sanction a move for Eberechi Eze. Sounds like bullshit to me, to be honest.
Well, it's all very odd and peculiar because it all seemed to be heading in one direction, and it all seemed to be like, okay, so everyone's getting excited. Everyone's like, okay, this is happening finally.
They just need to bring us down a few pegs. That's all it is.
Well, when you start getting the stories about him being left out of the squad tomorrow, you're like, okay, wow, it's really progressing. But one sec. So I think that was really exciting. And then to get that update from Miguel Delaney, the thing is with Miguel Delaney, he's not the most reliable. That's the truth. He's not like one where
out of all the journalists on that list, he's the least reliable.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not like you take everything he says as gospel. So from that point of view, like if all the other more reliable journalists are still saying it's happening, and you've got to be confident about that. But sometimes it does. Sometimes it is a Miguel Delaney or someone like that does break news, and everyone kind of cottons onto it, and everyone that kind of catches on. We haven't heard anyone jumping on the back of this yet, but is this Palace looking for a few extra million from Tottenham, putting this kind of story out there? Is this Miguel Delaney getting his story wrong? I mean, he was as you say, an hour ago saying the deal was very close to 55 million. Could also be Palace trying to get a few million, and they're obviously seeing the stories and knowing about the stories about Eze's not being in the squad tomorrow and the deal's really close, all that kind of stuff. They see that's the narrative forming. So do they go to Tottenham and say, look, this is the narrative. How embarrassing would it be for you if this deal doesn't go through now? So you better give us a few extra million or we're pulling out. Like, is that the kind of what's happening behind the scenes, and they're just trying to get a few million? Look, let's be honest, there's nothing Levy hasn't done, isn't it? In his time as chairman, gone back to the table and gone for a few extra million, last minute changed terms. That's what Levy's known for. It's pissed a lot of people off. We know that. So I'm sure it's something that goes down. We've seen it before as well. I think the day before the Porro deal, that looked all to going through, and then the night before Porro, got that Ornstein tweet saying the deal is off for Porro and they couldn't agree a fee, and then the next morning it's back on and we sign him. So these things, there's also a lot of posturing when it comes with these kind of things. So I don't think that update suggests this off, but obviously when we've just gone through the whole Morgan Gibbs White debacle, and being a Tottenham fan in general, where these things usually blow up in our faces, you can't help but have some anxiety about it.
Yeah, I think if we were any other club but Tottenham, I think it would be all right, and this would go through, and it's just a bit of like you mentioned, last minute posturing. But because we are Tottenham and we've been stung so many times in the past, I mean, most recently Morgan Gibbs White, where we botched it, here we go. It does give you more anxiety than maybe if you weren't. But look, I still think this deal is going to go through. I really do. Eze, he's agreed personal terms. He wants the move. He's pushing for the move. All the reliable journalists are pretty much saying stuff of a similar nature to that. And I think with Crystal Palace, with Eze, he's been such a good servant for them. If the deal's gone that far and they're just kind of like at the end of the negotiation with Tottenham, I think they owe it to him to just let him go.
Yeah, I think so with the service he's given. But would Tottenham do the same? Would all clubs they want the best fee? As much as I agree they owe it to him from our point of view, but they also owe it to themselves to get the best fee for him, I guess, is how they'll look at it. But that would be, I mean, it'll just be so Spursy if we don't get him in at this point. Whatever.
But they will get the best fee. When you're talking about 55 million, I think it's a really good price for Eze. But if they don't sell him this summer, they're not going to get this price again because he ain't signing a new contract unless he signs a new contract.
Yeah, agreed. And if he does, he's going to end up like Zaha, and he'll never leave, and he'll end up in Galatasaray in 3 years' time. So
exactly.
Now's his last chance to really get to a club competing regularly for Europe, but and all that kind of stuff. So obviously,
the only thing that worries me, have Arsenal come in at the last minute. That's the only thing that could be happening here. That could really derail this move.
And that could also, make things complicated, as Miguel Delaney said, 100%. That could also be a possibility. Have they come in and all of a sudden Palace are making things complicated, delaying things to see what Arsenal are offering? So that's definitely a possibility, 100%. But as we've said, at the time of speaking, apart from Miguel Delaney, no one has followed on from his kind of reporting saying that's happening. So that all that kind of stuff. So you still got to hope that it's that the reliable journalist at the time of the recording is still, saying he's not going to be in the squad and all that kind of stuff. I guess all eyes are on tomorrow. All eyes on that squad, tomorrow. If he's not in the squad, then you got to think then it's got to be close. But I think,
So
yeah,
someone just asked Miguel Delaney, are the difficulties something that you think can be sorted out? And he says, from what I'm told, yes, of course.
Oh, okay. That sounds like money then. So let's see. Look, it's probably just Palace trying to get a bit more money out of us. That's probably the reality of the situation, in all honesty. And maybe they will, maybe they won't. But let's just look, for me, let's just hope we get this deal done. We'll see what happens when the Palace squad for the Chelsea game gets announced tomorrow, if he's in there or not. That's going to be, it's very, very telling.
Yeah. I just wanted to touch on the Yves Bissouma thing as well, because we were talking about Pep Guardiola lying about Savinho. Was Thomas Frank lying about Bissouma today? Because he said Bissouma wasn't in the squad because of an injury.
Probably. It's a bit convenient. He gets banned from disciplinary, although he did say he was going to be in the squad, so there's no need for him to say that. But he said, he didn't go to the Super Cup due to disciplinary, being late many times. There's now a lot of rumours around Roma coming in for him, potentially for that Tottenham want to ask him
Roma
for 20
deal's not
million.
going to happen now. Roma deal's not going to happen.
Why is that?
Because they said the report said that he will only go to Roma if Manu Kone leaves Roma, and now Manu Kone is staying, apparently.
Okay. Well, there's still rumours about. We'll see. It might not be Roma, but maybe there's something in the pipeline there with him leaving and stuff like that. He did post
There's
this.
rumours of West Ham and Everton.
He did post that cryptic selfie of him alone in the changing room in the gym. Whether the club didn't take kindly to that or not, I don't know. So yeah, I don't know. I think it's a bit too convenient. He's injured, I would say.
Yeah, maybe there is something further down the line. I think the report as well said he's dying to stay in England because one more year in England he gets a British passport, and he wants to stay in England because of that. So look, we'll have to wait and see what happens. That is your Tottenham update. There might be some more developments later tonight. We'll have to wait and see. But as of this moment in time, the latest Eze report is saying that there is difficulties in the negotiations, which is, a bit worrying to hear. But let me know what your thoughts are on it in the comments section below. Do you think we'll get this Eze and Savinho deal over the line? Can we get a Piero Hincapie on top of them as well? Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, come on, you Spurs.